loves. So today's topic is going to be around you are your own guru. And it's something that I have been struggling with for a very long time. And so I'm speaking from experience, like always. But it is something that I've struggled for a really long time because I've always thought that I didn't have the answers. I always thought that you had to go look for an expert in their field for whatever it is that you want answers to. And so, for example, is life coaching. I have my own private life coach, and we've been working together for years, and I have created amazing results with her support. But recently, I figured out that I've been leaning on her to really do the work for me that no one else can do. And so I've been really leaning on her for her to give me answers that I only have myself. And we do this often, and I see this often because we think, well, this person is an expert in their field. This person has a degree. This person has, so many years in this arena. So of course I'm going to trust them. And yes, that is completely true to a certain extent. I have experience, I'm probably sure you guys have too, where I trust someone for advice because they have already what I want. And I think that that's a great way to go about it, to really look for people that have the results that you are craving and to really, dive into what it is that they're doing and, ask questions and ask advice. But there is a point that I have gotten to that some things that what those people have said doesn't resonate with me, that I don't feel like they're my truth. There's their truth. And it feels off to me. It feels a bit, I wouldn't say not genuine, but it just doesn't feel or sits right with me. And so sometimes we dismiss that feeling. We dismiss the feeling of, oh, that's just whatever, or that's really probably just me doubting because I'm not used to the growth. Or we make an excuse. We make like spiritual bypass or any type of bypass to ignore that feeling within us. And so what we do is that once we ignore that feeling that something doesn't resonate with us, we automatically start not to trust ourselves. We start not to trust our intuition. We start to doubt, and we start to put our power, our inner knowing and our inner power on other people. And then we go into the cycle where is, I don't know, and I need more advice. I used to do this heavily, guys. I used to go to a lot of tarot readings and a lot of psychics to tell me answers that I already knew within myself, or that I would need support in, but some of the things didn't really sit right with me, and I knew it, but I just took it as truth, like absolute truth with a capital T, and ignored how I felt about the situation. And so you have to understand that sometimes, yes, to a certain extent, they are completely correct. You should follow advice, but you also get to trust yourself. You also get to dive into your inner knowing, dive into what is real for you. And that takes time for you to be quiet, for you to be silent with yourself, for you to ask yourself questions, and for you to feel things out. And one thing I want to say about this is that we do this as a way, again, I'm speaking for myself, but from experience, we do this as a way to control and as a way to keep us in the same loop of the answers aren't within me, of I don't have the power is out there. And it keeps us powerless. It keeps us away from creating the life that it is that we crave to create. So it is a coping mechanism to keep us stuck into what we say we want, into the life that we want, into, whatever goals that you want to accomplish with yourselves. And it is a way to avoid owning that we are the answers that we've been looking for the whole time. Because if we own our power, if we own who we are, and if we own that we already know the answers, then it is also a way to kind of back up and not lean in because of fear of success, because of fear of, holy shit, I'm found out, so now I have to, lean in and do the work. And so, I mean, I can understand why people do that and why I have done it in the past before, like full transparency. I've done it like so many times, and I'm catching myself more and more and more. But the more that you catch yourself, the more is it that you can't unring the bell that is already rung of your inner knowing, your intuition. And so I say all of that because now we get to really lean into owning our truth, owning who it is that we are, owning being okay with disagreeing with a guru, whoever that is, being okay with taking things with a grain of salt, being okay with things not being fixed because they say so, and figuring out our own truth. And a lot of people, including myself, I've been there too, so no judgment, this is a no judgment zone, but a lot of people don't want to go the route of I already know, because that takes thinking for yourself. That takes really facing yourself and really facing the BS that you have been telling yourself. And thinking is hard. Thinking is thinking for yourself. I want to clarify that. Thinking for yourself is challenging. Thinking for yourself and challenging the thoughts and challenging what you already know is a new way of living. And it takes courage, it takes discipline, it takes self-awareness, and it takes really wanting to create something different with yourself and with your life. And I think that this is where we're headed, where leadership is headed, that no matter, even if you're the leader of your life right now, if you don't have a company, if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you are in the zone of, whatever it is that you own, it really takes really leaning into yourself and leaning into the questions and coming up with your own answers versus always looking out there for advice, for guidance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I, again, have my own life coach and I've been working with her for years. But I recently noticed that sometimes we lean into these people that we consider professionals or experts in their field. And when we don't get the results that we want, we start to blame them. And again, that is another way of, not taking responsibility for ourselves, not taking responsibility and doing the work for ourselves. And so that what I'm sharing now, thinking for yourself. And so breaking the habit of that, we get to really lean into asking ourselves powerful questions and being okay with not knowing the answers right absolutely now, and trusting enough that the answers will come. I had this one experience I'll share really quick around this one psychologist. She's pretty well known. And I started to doing her journal prompts. It was like a future journal prompts for 30 days. And I did that. But I remember that something didn't sit right with me. Like it just didn't feel 100% genuine. And I remember talking to my life coach about this. And I said, I agree with her up until, right here. Because she was an expert in her field and because she was so, well known and so many people trusted her, I just didn't want to stand up for myself and say, I don't believe in that, or I disagree. Because who am I to say something like that? You feel like you don't have kind of like enough to back you up. And at the same time, when I spoke to my life coach about it, she said, why don't you trust yourself? If it doesn't sit right with you, then it is for a reason. And that's what I want to leave this video with, is that if it doesn't sit right with you, it's for a reason. And just because people are experts in their field, that doesn't mean that everything they say is truth with a capital T. We get to find our own truth, and we get to lean into ourselves by asking ourselves, is this true for me? Does this resonate with me? Am I really feeling this? Am I vibing with this? And we get to take different truths, right? We don't have to necessarily follow one person and make them our guru and, and that's it. We get to really lean in and take different truths from different people. And sometimes that doesn't even mean taking truth from other people. Sometimes it's taking our own and structuring that and build that. And over time, that may change. And over time, that may stay the same. Who knows? But you won't know until you start asking yourself questions, until you really start diving into yourself. Because one thing that I've learned is that no one's here to save you, no matter how hard they try, no matter how hard they want to. You are the only person that can do the work for you. No matter how much advice or how much guidance someone gives you, they can only lead you to the door. You have to walk through it and do the work for yourself. And doing the work means having the courage to be honest with yourself, to know what is true for you and what is not. So I hope this serves you. Let me know if you had any experiences like that. I'm very curious to know. So let me know in the comments below if you have experiences like that in the past, or you're experiencing maybe now. And if you know exactly what I'm talking about, leave a comment below. And if it's someone that needs to hear this, share them, and please like. Thank you so much. And I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.